Okay. So, good morning, everybody. My name is Ferhan Mazher, and today is 15th November 2020. The day is Tuesday. Right now, I am with the 10th Cambridge class, and the subject we are studying is Physics 5054. And we have started a new chapter. The name of the chapter is Electrostatics. This is the third lesson on uh, on that chapter, and we are learning about electrostatics. So, in this lesson, we are working on an instrument which is being used here. The name of the instrument is electroscope. So, electroscope is basically it's glass. You can say a glass jar, and glass jar which is transparent. You can see through it, and in the neck of the, you see this neck here, we have an insulator. Insulator means the electricity cannot pass through it, and through that insulator we have inserted, here we have a brass disc. Brass is also a metal, and it's disc, and with that disc we have a rod which is also made of brass, and at the bottom of that rod I have two leaves. They are very thin foils, two leaves of gold. These, like this, they are leaves of gold. So, and they both can open up and they can close. They can open and they can collapse. Here, these two, they are the leaves of, and they are made of gold. And this glass jar, the bottom,
सर
we have at the bottom we have aluminum foil. Yeah.
सर आज हमने नया चैप्टर शुरू किया है
Yes, this is the new chapter.
चैप्टर का नाम
Electrostatic.
ओके सर
Electrostatics. And this aluminum foil is grounded. Grounded means with the help of a wire is connected with this aluminum foil at the bottom, and this wire is connected with the ground, with the earth. Okay, we call it grounding. So this is the very first thing which you are learning, and we are talking about the electroscope. Okay, so this discussion is about the construction of the electroscope, and I hope you have understood. The gold leaf electroscope is a sensitive instrument for detecting charges. And the gold leaf electroscope can be used to check whether something is charged or it is uncharged, and what type of charge it has. It consists of a brass rod with a brass disc at the top and two thin leaves of gold foil hanging at the bottom. The rod passes through an insulator that keeps the rod in place. Charges can move freely from the disc to leaves through the rod. A thin aluminum foil is attached and on the lower portion of the inside of the jar. Usually the aluminum foil is grounded by connecting a copper wire. This protects the leaves from external electrical disturbances. So this was about the construction of the glass jar. Do you understand this thing? Anybody would
Yes.
like to repeat what I just taught you? Yes. What you understand?
सर आप अभी भी स्क्रीन प्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं क्योंकि मतलब बिल्कुल ब्लैक आ रहा है सब कुछ
सर आपने बताया कि सेंसिटिव इंस्ट्रूमेंट है टू डिटेक्ट चार्जेस और इसमें एक ब्रास रॉड होती है विद ब्रास डिस्क ऑन द टॉप और देन इसमें टू थिन लीव्स होते हैं जो गोल्ड फॉइल्स के होते हैं और वो दे आर हैंगिंग ऑन द बॉटम.
Okay. So there was a problem. Internet is going up and down. So my cell phone is still connected, but the PC from where I'm sharing your that file, it has lost the connection. So it's reconnecting. So it takes time. Okay, so electroscope was basically it was basically a glass jar, and at the top of the brass jar we have an insulator, and through that insulator we have drilled a hole, and from that hole a brass rod is inserted, and through that brass rod we have let me so we are back again from through the PC also. You see, now you are able to see the screen.
जी
Are you able to see the
जी
screen? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So very simple construction of the electroscope. This is called gold leaf electroscope. This first paragraph is about the construction of the gold leaf electroscope. Okay. So let's see the next diagram. You see here, you can see in this first diagram, these leaves are collapsed. Collapsed means they are straight, like this. If you bring a charged body near the brass disc at the top, if you will bring a charged body, for example, a body which is positively charged, or for example, you bring a body which is negatively charged, whatever may be the charge, if both the leaves are together, they are collapsed. If you bring a charged body near the disc of the electroscope, what will happen? These leaves will open. These leaves will open. Both the leaves are like this, they will open like this. They will move away from each other. They will open up. So if the leaves are together, and if you bring another body near the brass, if that body is charged, the leaves will open up, and that will show that that body is charged. Okay. So so detecting the presence of charge, in order to detect the presence of charge on any body, if you want to test that, if for example, if I have this rod and I want to check whether it has charge on it or not, it might have positive charge on it, it might have negative charge on it, no matter what the charge is, or it may be neutral. The third option can be it may be neutral. So if I want to test it, if it is positively charged, or it is negatively charged, or it is not charged, it's neutral. So I can use the electroscope. The test is very simple. You bring this charged body, if you suspect this is charged body, bring it near the disc of the electroscope. If it is charged, the leaves of the gold leaves of the electroscope, they will open. Before they will be closed, when you bring it near the brass rod, they will open up. If they open up, it means that the rod you brought near the disc, brass disc, that is charged. If it is not charged, they will remain closed. In order to detect the presence of charge on any body, bring the body near the disc of an uncharged electroscope. If the body is neutral, there will be no deflection of the leaves. Figure 13.78. You can see the rod you brought near the brass disc is neutral. It is not charged. It's uncharged. So nothing will happen to the leaves. There will be no deflection. But if the body is positively or negatively charged, the leaves of the electroscope diverge. Diverge means they open up like this. Diverge. But if the body is positively or negatively charged, the leaves of the electroscope diverge. For example, if the body is negatively charged, then due to electrostatic induction, positive charge will appear on the disc, while negative charge will appear on the leaves. The leaves of the electroscope repel each other and diverge because each leaf gets similar charge. The divergence of leaves will depend on the amount of charge. Okay, for example, these lines, let me explain to you. We are talking about now this thing. Okay, this diagram. For example, you brought, let me increase the size so I can explain this. We are talking about this diagram, this B diagram. For example, you brought a rod which was negatively charged. For example, you brought a rod which was negatively charged near the disc of the electroscope. Because it is negatively charged, so the electrons from this metal, do you know the metal has free electrons in it? And the metal is a conductor, it has free electrons, and the free electrons, they can move around in the body of the metal. The free electrons can go from one end of the brass rod to the other end of the brass rod. They can move around in the brass rod. They can move around in the metal body. They can go from top of the metal body to the bottom of the metal body. They can go from the left side of the metal body to the right side. They are kind of floating in the metal, the free electrons. So when you bring a negatively charged rod near the top of this disc, which is made of brass, the free electrons here, they will be repelled because this is negative and the electrons are also negative. And we know that the negative charge and the negative charge repel each other. Like charges repel each other. So the free electrons here, they will be repelled by this negatively charged rod and they will go down and they will accumulate on these gold leaves. So because the free electrons are repelled from the top of the disc due to this negative charge, they will go, they will flow, they will go down to the leaves. So the top of the gold leaf, the disc, it will become deficient in electrons. It will have less electrons now. So this top thing will become positive, and both these leaves, because all the free electrons due to repulsion from the top, they have accumulated in these leaves. So these leaves will become negative. When these leaves will become negative, because both the leaves are negatively charged, so they repel each other. So both the leaves will diverge. So you are basically, you see, you are not able to see the charges. With your eye, you cannot see that the charge is positive, charge is negative, charge is here is positive, here there is negative. You cannot see it with your eye. But when you will bring, what you will see with your naked eye, that when you will bring that negatively charged rod near the disc of the electroscope, you will see the leaves of the electroscope, they will diverge, they will open up. And how much they open up, how much they diverge, that depends upon the charge, amount of charge on this rod. The more the charge on that rod, which is in your hand, more the charge on that rod, the more will be diversions, the more will be opening up of the gold leaves. So you see, if you bring a charged rod near the top of that, near the top of the brass rod, the gold leaves will open. If the gold leaves open, it means the rod you brought with the disc, it is charged. Okay, now you understand this? Do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anybody would like to repeat what I just taught you? How you detect this, how you use the electroscope to find out if a rod is charged or not? Yes, better. Anybody would like to repeat?
सर आपने बताया कि जो चार्ज रॉड पे होगा उससे ऑपोजिट चार्ज अट्रैक्ट हो जाएगा और इस डिस्क पे आ जाएगा।
Okay.
उसके बाद जो मतलब
And then
अगर
what will
नेगेटिव
happen?
चार्ज था रॉड पे तो पॉजिटिव चार्ज को वो अट्रैक्ट करेगा और जो गोल्ड लीफ होंगे वो रिपेल करेंगे एक दूसरे को और इससे हमें पता चलेगा कि चार्ज है या नहीं।
Hmm. Anybody else? Anybody?
सर
Attend to mom.
बेसिकली सर जो हम चार्ज रॉड को रखेंगे जो अपर पोर्शन ऑफ दैट इलेक्ट्रोस्कोप है उस पे जो एक तो आपके पास आयरन मेटल होगा तो उसमें आपके पास फ्री इलेक्ट्रॉन्स भी होंगे। जो चार्ज होगा वो अट्रैक्ट हो जाएगा। फॉर एग्जांपल अगर नेगेटिव चार्ज है तो पॉजिटिव प्रोटॉन्स अट्रैक्ट हो जाएंगे और जो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स है वो रिपेल हो जाएंगे क्योंकि पॉजिटिव दोनों सेम होंगे तो वो रिपेल करके नीचे ट्रैवल करेंगे गोल्ड लीफ की साइड पे और क्योंकि वहां पे प्रेजेंस ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन ज्यादा हो जाएगी तो वो डाइवर्ज कर जाएंगे।
Okay. So when they diverge, that shows that the rod is charged. Okay. One thing which I want, I ask you to explain it again. You see, one thing very important, and everybody should note this. The sentences which I'm going to say. Very, very important information which I'm telling you. When I bring a negatively charged rod near the top of that electroscope, which is made of brass, it's a disc is made of brass, which is a metal. It has free electrons. And when you bring this negatively charged rod here, the free electrons here, they are repelled. So when they are repelled, they go down to the gold leaves. So in the gold leaves, now there is excess of electrons. So that's why the gold leaves become negative. And on the top, there is deficiency of electrons. That's why the top brass disc has become positive. During this discussion and during your descriptions regarding that the charges move, never, never, never say the protons were attracted. Or you are never supposed to say that the protons moved to the top or protons moved away. The protons in the metal do not move. The top became positive not because the protons came there. No, the top became positive because the electrons from the top have gone. They have gone down to the gold leaves. So if something has become positive, it means that electrons from that thing has gone to some other place. If something becomes negative, it means that the electrons have changed that place. If an object, like the top of that brass, has become positive, it means it has lost electrons. And if something becomes negative, it means it has gained electrons. If something becomes positive, it means it's deficient in electrons. It has less electrons as compared to protons. And if something becomes negative, it means it has more electrons as compared to protons. So whenever you are describing, you will never say that the positive charge is attracted to the top of the brass disc, because the positive charge cannot move. I mean, the protons cannot move. They are attached to their nucleus. It's a solid brass metal, so the atoms are not moving. Protons are inside the nucleus of those atoms, so they are not moving. The top became positive because from there the free electrons have gone. Because the free electrons can flow in the body of the metal. They can go around. So now if somebody would like to describe this thing again, I have made a correction, okay? So whenever you are describing, so I made a correction. Very important. So now again somebody will describe this thing. Hello? Hello? Somebody would like to describe this
सर
thing, whole thing again. Yes?
हम ये
You
डिटेक्ट
can
करते हैं
explain,
कि
yes?
रॉड पे चार्ज एक्यूमुलेट हुआ या नहीं, मतलब हम किस के
Sorry?
चार्ज को डिटेक्ट
We
कर
are
रहे हैं?
detecting the rod in my hand. We are
ओके सर,
detecting if it is charged or not. So will you
ओके
like to explain again?
सर ट्राई कर लेते हैं।
Yeah, why not?
अगर हमने डिटेक्ट करना है कि रॉड पे पॉजिटिव चार्ज है या नेगेटिव चार्ज है, मतलब कोई भी चार्ज है, तो हम इस रॉड को इस डिस्क के पास लेंगे, और अगर इस पे नेगेटिव चार्ज
Yeah.
है तो बिकॉज नेगेटिव नेगेटिव को रिपेल करता है, तो नेगेटिव रिपेल होके गोल्ड लीव्स में चला जाएगा, और पॉजिटिव चार्ज डिस्क में एक्यूमुलेट हो जाएगा, क्योंकि मतलब पॉजिटिव चार्ज ट्रेवल नहीं करता। इसके
The
बाद
positive charge is already there.
ओके सर, तो उसके बाद क्योंकि नेगेटिव चार्ज दोनों गोल्ड लीफ में आ चुका है, तो वो दोनों रिपेल करेंगे एक दूसरे को, और इस तरह हमें पता लगेगा कि रॉड चार्ज है।
If the gold is they diverge, it means the rod is charged. Okay?
Yes, sir.
जी
Okay.
सर।
Okay. So let's go to the next thing. And he says charging the electroscope by electrostatic induction. So we will first in the first step we learned how the electroscope is used to detect if a rod is charged or not. Now we will learn to charge the electroscope. For example, if you want to charge the electroscope positively, or if you want to charge the rod negatively. Okay, so we can do both the things. We can charge the whole electroscope as positive, or we can charge the whole uh, electroscope, you can see negatively. Okay, now electroscope can be charged by the process of electrostatic induction. This word electrostatic induction, don't bother about it, I will explain. In order to produce positive charge on the electroscope, bring a negatively charged body near the disc of the electroscope. Like in the figure, this first figure, you are bringing a negatively charged body near the disc. In order to produce positive charge on the electroscope, bring a negatively charged body near the disc of the electroscope. Positive charge will appear on the disc of the electroscope, while negative charges will shift to the leaves. Now, connect the disc of the electroscope to the earth, aluminum foil, by conducting wire. Charge of the leaves will flow to the earth through the wire. Now, if we first break the earth connection and then remove the rod, the electroscope will be left with the positive charges. Okay, very simple. Let me explain it to you first. Let me increase the size so you can see clearly. Yeah. So very simple thing. You see what is happening here. I have an electroscope and its both leaves are closed. And what I did, I brought a negatively charged rod. And when I will bring the negatively charged rod, so you see what will happen. This top disk, here the free electrons will be repelled due to this negative. So they will go into the leaves. And the leaves will open up. This top is now positive, deficient in electrons. And these leaves, they are negative, they have excess of electrons. They are open. They are divergent. Okay. Now, you will keep this rod here. Keep this rod here. Don't remove it. This negatively charged rod, keep it here. And you connect this earth wire. When you will connect this earth wire to the aluminum foil inside, what will happen? The electrons, the free electrons which are here, if you connect this aluminum foil with these leaves and this earth wire is connected with the ground, what will happen? The electrons here through the earth wire, they will grow into the ground. So the electrons which were accumulated on these two leaves, they will go to the ground, to the earth, because you provided an earth wire. Earth wire is simple wire which connect the object to the ground. And very interesting thing about the ground or the earth is that the earth is a very, very, very big, you can say, bank of the electrons. It can give you electrons and it can receive electrons. For example, if you connect it with the earth, if you connect it with the earth, the electrons from the body will go, if the body has excess of electrons, they will go to the ground. If the body you connected with the earth wire to the ground, if that body has less electrons, if it is positive, if it is deficient in electrons, the electrons from the ground will come to that body. So you see, the earth, the earth can give electrons to the body and it can also receive electrons from the body. So earth is a very big, huge bank of electrons. It can give the electrons to the body and nothing will happen to the charge of the earth. And it can receive the electrons and nothing will happen to the charge of the earth. Earth is a big bank of electrons. So when you will connect the earth wire to the aluminum foil at the bottom of the electroscope, the electrons on the gold leaves, they through the earth wire will go into the ground. Now the excess electrons which were on these gold leaves, they have gone to the ground. So when the gold leaves will lose their electrons, the free electrons which came there, when they are gone to the ground, and during this whole process, this rod should remain here, this negatively charged rod. It is not supposed to be removed. It should remove here when you connected the earth wire and when the gold leaves have collapsed because they have lost electrons through the earth wire to the ground. Then remove this negative rod as well. Break the earth wire and remove this negative charge rod. First break the earth wire and then remove this negatively charged rod. You observe when this will happen, you will observe that the electrons which came from the top to the gold leaves, they have gone to the ground. Now this metal, the brass rod and the brass disc and those gold leaves, when the earth is broken, the earth wire is broken, I mean, when the negatively charged rod has been removed, then this brass rod will realize that it has lost its free electrons to the ground. Now it as a whole will be deficient in electrons. It has lost its electrons. So this whole brass rod and those gold leaves, they will become positively charged. And once you do this, the gold leaves will open up again. They will diverge again because now the whole rod and the brass disc, the brass rod and the gold leaves, they are deficient in electrons. They will be positively charged. So that's why the gold leaves will open up again. Now, an interesting thing has happened. The whole brass disc, the whole brass rod, the gold leaves, they are positively charged now. So this is how you charge an electroscope positively. Okay. So, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Anybody would like to explain how this happened? How you will charge an electroscope positively? The process. Anybody would like to repeat it? Yes. Would you like to repeat it, Bete? Anybody?
Sir, can I?
Yes. Ma'am.
Okay, so first of all, हम एक नेगेटिवली चार्ज रॉड लेके आएंगे जिसके ऊपर जो नेगेटिव फ्री इलेक्ट्रॉन्स होंगे वो गोल्ड लीव जाएंगे और पर चार्जेस हमारे डिस्क में रह जाएंगे. जब वो नेगेटिव चार्जेस लीव में से वो रिपेल करेंगे दूसरे और फिर हमारी एल्यूमिनियम फॉइल है जो ग्राउंड से अटैच हुई है वो इलेक्ट्रॉन पर रिसीव कर लेगी. फिर हम उस रॉड को हटा देंगे जब सारे चार्जेस चले जाएंगे. फिर जब हम हटा देंगे तो वो चार्जेस पहले डिस्क में थे वो हम डिस्क जाएंगे और पॉजिटिव चार्जेस आ जाएंगे हमारे लीव पे.
You see, there was a problem in the internet and we were not able to hear her voice clearly. I hope that she is telling the few words I was able to hear, and they seem to be in order. Anybody else will like to? Amna, well, shabash, but somebody. Where is Fatma Zia? She's not here. We don't have Fatma Zia with us. So why you are not repeating? So come on. How you charge electroscope negative, positively?
सर जो हम नेगेटिवली चार्ज हमारी जो बॉडी होती है हम उसको डिस्क के करीब लगा लाते हैं इलेक्ट्रोस्कोप के और जो पॉजिटिव चार्ज होते हैं वो डिस्क पर अपीयर हो जाते हैं ऑफ द इलेक्ट्रोस्कोप जबकि जो नेगेटिव चार्जेस होते हैं वो लीव्स में चले जाते हैं. उसके बाद सर हम जो हम डिस्क होता है इलेक्ट्रोस्कोप का उसको हम अर्थ हेड एल्युमिनियम फॉइल से कनेक्ट करते हैं बाय अ कंडक्टिंग वायर और उसके बाद जो चार्ज ऑफ द लीव्स होता है वो अर्थ पे फ्लो कर जाता है थ्रू द वायर. और फिर जब सर हम अर्थ कनेक्शन को अगर ब्रेक करें और फिर वो हम रॉड निकालें तो जो इलेक्ट्रोस्कोप होगा उस पे पॉजिटिव चार्ज होंगे.
Because it has lost its electron to the ground. Okay, let's go. Let's move to the next thing. For example, if you want to charge the electroscope negatively, the example we just considered here, if here the electroscope was charged as positive, In the same way, I can charge the electroscope as negatively, and the process is very simple. For example, if you have this if this is electroscope and it is not charged, for example, it is not charged. So take a positively charged rod. Now I'm talking about the next step. Okay, how to charge electroscope negatively. The diagrams are not about the negatively, but I'm just explaining it. So bring a rod here which is positively charged near the disc of the electroscope. So when you will bring a rod which is positively charged, so the electrons from the gold leaves, from the brass disc, free electrons, they all will be attracted to that positive rod. So they will accumulate on the top. So in that case, this top will become negative. The reason is because from whole the body of gold leaves, from the brass rod and from the brass disc, these all are metal, the free electrons in them, they all will be attracted to that positive rod. If this rod is positive, this rod is positive, the electrons will accumulate here, the free electrons will accumulate here. So here we will have a set of electrons. So this head, the disk here, that will become negative. And the gold leaves, they will be deficient in electrons. They will have less electrons as compared to the protons there. So these gold leaves will become positive. So when they will become positive, they will open up. So both the leaves will have positive charge on them. Okay. And the top, the disc, the brass disc, that will become negative. Then by keeping that positive rod in the same position, here we have aluminum foil, and that aluminum foil is connected with the earth wire. Bring it near the gold leaves. And what will happen? Because the gold leaves are positive, they require electrons. They are deficient in electrons. When the earth will be connected, what will happen? From the ground, the electrons will come and they will go to the gold leaves through this aluminum foil in the bottom. When it will touch these gold leaves, because the gold leaves are now positive, they'll need electrons to neutralize. So what will happen? From the ground, the electrons will come and they will go on to those leaves which are positive. So when electrons will arrive, these gold leaves will become neutral, because the electrons from the ground came to those gold leaves through the earth wire. Once the gold leaves collapse, what you do? They close, you break the earth wire, and then you remove this positive rod. When you have broken first the earth wire and then you have removed this positive rod, then this whole thing we realize that it has extra electrons which came from the ground. So this whole, the top of the disc, this brass rod and these gold leaves, they will become negatively charged. The whole thing will become negatively charged. So, you see, here he says, similarly, electroscope can be charged negatively with the help of a positively charged rod. Can you explain this with the help of a diagram? So we have explained it. Electroscope can also be charged by the process of conduction. Touch a negatively charged rod with the disc of a neutral electroscope. Negative charge from the rod will transfer to the electroscope and will cause its leaves to diverge. So another method of the charging the electroscope is conduction. In conduction, you bring a charged body and you touch with that charged body. So when you touch it, the electron, if that charged body is negative, the electrons will transfer to the brass disc and the whole thing will become negatively charged. Okay. Beta, do you understand this whole story?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now, how we use the electroscope? You see, the electroscope can be used for detecting the type of charge. The first thing which we learned is that electroscope can tell you that if a body is charged or not charged. Now, the second thing I am telling you is the electroscope can be used to find out that if this rod is charged, what kind of charge it has. Electroscope can be used to tell you that if the charge on the rod you are testing is positive or it is negative. It can use to identify the type of charge on the rod. Okay. Understand what I'm saying? For example, you have an electroscope which is positively charged. For this purpose, the electroscope should be already charged. For example, you can charge the electroscope positively, or you can charge the rod electroscope negatively. That's up to you. For example, in this example, we are considering that I have an electroscope which is positively charged. Its leaves are already opened, diverged. The whole brass disc, the rod and the leaves, they are positively charged. I know this already. So I bring a rod near the top of this electroscope. And I want to know what is the charge on this. I know this is charged, but I want to know whether this is positive charge or it is negative charge. So when I will bring this charged rod near the disc, the top disc of the electroscope. And remember, the electroscope is already positively charged. The whole electroscope is positively charged. So when I bring this rod near the top of that electroscope, if the leaves open up more, when I bring this rod near the electroscope, which is already positively charged, when I bring this rod near the top of that electroscope, if the leaves open up more, if they further open up, it means that the rod you have brought is positive. And if the leaves close, when I bring this rod near the top of that electroscope is already positively charged. When I bring this rod near it, if the leaves of gold leaves, they come close to each other, if the deflection decreases between the leaves, if the leaves closes, it means the rod is negative. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So what
sir.
I told you, just repeat it.
Sure.
सर कि अगर वो नेगेटिवली चार्ज होगा तो क्योंकि वो सेम चार्जेस होंगे तो वो रिपेल करेगा और अगर वो पॉजिटिवली चार्ज होगा तो क्लोज हो जाएगा नहीं मैंने उल्टा बता दिया आई गेस
Yes. Try again.
सर मैंने उल्टा बता दिया ना
If you want to use electroscope to find out the type of charge on a rod, whether positive or it is negative, you want to know what kind of charge is on the rod. The electroscope should be charged beforehand. In our example, we have an electroscope which is positively charged. Then I bring a rod near the disc of this. The electroscope is already charged, positively charged. And I bring an unknown rod near the disc of the electroscope. The electroscope is already positively charged. If the gold leaves of the electroscope open up further, they further diverge. When you bring the rod, it means the rod is also positive. And if you bring the rod near the top of the electroscope, which is already positive, and its gold leaves collapse, if the gold leaves close, it means that the charge, it means the charge on the rod is negative. This is how you use the electroscope to find out the type of the charge on the rod or on an unknown rod. Yes, anybody would like to do this again? We like to.
सर टू चेक द सर चार्ज को डिटेक्ट करने के लिए फर्स्टली आपकी इलेक्ट्रोस्कोप जो है वो चार्ज होनी
Yes.
चाहिए सो आपकी इलेक्ट्रोस्कोप प्रीवियसली चार्ज होनी चाहिए सो फॉर एग्जांपल अगर हमारी इलेक्ट्रोस्कोप पॉजिटिवली चार्ज है और हमें ग्लास रॉड को चार्ज को टेस्ट करने के लिए ग्लास रॉड लाते हैं और अगर ग्लास रॉड पॉजिटिवली चार्ज होगा तो डाइवर्जेंस जो गोल्ड लीव्स में होगी वो इंक्रीज कर जाएगी और अगर वो
Yes.
नेगेटिवली चार्ज हो जाएगा तो गोल्ड लीव्स या तो क्लोज हो जाएंगे या उनकी डाइवर्जेंस कम हो जाएगी
Yes, that's the thing. Shabash, shabash. Meena got the point. Yes. For the detection of type of charge on a body, electroscope is first charged either positively or negatively. Suppose the electroscope is positively charged as explained before, figure 13.9a. Now, in order to track the type of charge on the body, bring the charged body near the disc of the positively charged electroscope. If the divergence of the leaves increases, the body carries positive charge. On the other hand, if the divergence decreases, the body has negative charge. Now I hope that it's clear to you that how the detecting of the type of charge on a rod it works with the electroscope. Okay, so here we have the last. Here we have a last thing. Electroscope can be used for another purpose also. And that purpose is the electroscope can tell you that if the object you brought near the or you are touching the disc with, electroscope can tell you that if an object is an insulator or a conductor. Electroscope can be used to find out if, for example, you have a rod and you don't know whether this is a conductor or an insulator. So the electroscope can tell you that if an object is a conductor or an insulator. Okay? The electroscope can distinguish between an insulator and a conductor. Electroscope can also be used to distinguish between insulators and conductors. Touch the disc of a charged electroscope with material under test. If the leaves collapse from their diverged position, the body would be a good conductor. If there is no change in the divergence of the leaves, it will show that the body under test is an insulator. If you have a charged electroscope, when you have a charged electroscope, for example, it's positively charged. Its gold leaves will be diverged like this. The unknown rod which you want to test whether it's a conductor or not conductor, you touch it with the top of the disc. If the leaves collapse, it means the rod is a metal, or it's a conductor, I mean. And if nothing happens to the leaves, their divergence, nothing happens to their divergence, it means the thing is insulated. What do you say? Anybody would like to tell me how you do this test? Very simple test. Somebody would like to tell me?
सर अगर वो कंडक्टर होगी रॉड तो जो लीव्स होंगे वो कोलैप्स कर जाएंगे और अगर नहीं होगी तो फिर वो लीव्स मतलब कुछ भी नहीं करेंगे.
Okay. Anybody else? Hurry up, girls. Anybody else? Other than Dua? How this is used to detect if a thing is a conductor or an insulator? Hello? Are you hearing me? Nobody? Hello? So I think that my students, I don't know. So if you have a charged electroscope, when you have a charged electroscope, its leaves will be diverged. So if you bring a rod and touch the disc of the electroscope with it, if the leaves collapse, their divergence decreases, it means the rod is conductor. And if nothing happens on when you touch the rod with the disc of the electroscope, and nothing happens with the divergence of the leaves, that will show that the rod is an insulator. Okay. So that's it for today. Today's topic was all about the electroscope. The good thing about the electroscope is this is you will not find the electroscope in the physics matter. This book which I am using, this is a 10 metric book, and the other book which I am using, and that book is let me show you. The electroscope is also there. Let me show you the electroscope here. This also has electroscope in it. This book is IGCSE physics book. So you can read it from here, or this lecture will be enough. Okay. So here also the electroscope is shown, and you can also read from here. I'm just moving that page. So if you have time, so you can stop the video and let me increase the size so you can see the whole thing. You see, this is about the electroscope. So you can read about it. This is the electroscope in the IGCSE physics book. Because this topic is not in your book, I mean the physics matter. So I'm just moving this in front of you so you can read it. See, you can stop the video and you can read this, the theory which is written here. Okay. The same thing which we just learned from that metric book. So, okay, Ji. So, thank you very much, everybody. Today, I hope that you have learned a new thing, a new instrument we have learned. The name of the instrument was electroscope, and the chapter we are studying is electrostatics. And so, I hope this will help you. So, Ji, thank you very much.